Welcome all. The first thing I'd like to do today is welcome a new staff member to Consulting Services Network, Clay Nelson Life Balance. His name is Bernard Uhl, U-H-L. His title is Senior Vice President Worldwide Marketing for Clay Nelson Life Balance. And he's been a friend of mine for 4 or 5 years, maybe longer. I'm sure I'm going to hear about that one. But he's a great guy. He speaks German and some other European languages, which is going to help us break out into making a difference in a bigger area. So we like that. Anyway, so today's webinar is on taking care of you. And most of you probably are saying, well, I already know how to do that. I already am doing that. I'm 55 years old and I'm smarter than that. I know how to take care of me. All right. So most of us understand that it's important to take care of ourselves. Yet, taking care of our own physical and mental well-being is not something most of us default to. I mean, we just don't take care of us first, okay? We take on this way of living our lives like a badge of honor that symbolizes the strong work ethic and success that will come someday, maybe down the road. You know, work, 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 work. You know, if that describes your default way of going about the job you do, and the life you live, I ask you these simple questions. All right? How that way of being is working for you. Is it really working for you? You know, many of you on this call I'm coaching, and most of you are trying to get a handle on having your life work. Your business is working okay, but your life's not working. Why? It's because there's not enough of you going around. You know, are you having any fun? Whoa, there's a biggie. If you're struggling to reach your goals, have you considered what you might accomplish if you were actually rested, both mentally and physically? I mean, what an idea. Do you have the relationships you want with those you care for the most? Wow. Gee, I wonder who that would be. Could be your wife, your husband, your children, your church, you know. Like, I remember when I was on the speaking circuit many, many moons ago, and I was on an airplane every week, going somewhere to speak about something every week. And I missed 6.5 to 7 years of my kids' lives. And I really thought I was doing a great job. I was making money, and I was doing things, and I was making a difference, and I was all kinds of things, but I wasn't being connected with my kids. I sacrificed that. And now if I had to do it over again, I wouldn't do it that way. So now I'm not making you wrong in any way, shape, or form. If where you're at now is any of those things I just spoke, okay, I got it. Each of us is hardwired to work, 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 and then work some more. But there comes a point when work, 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 work without any time for you becomes an obstacle to the success you're working for. Can you get that? I mean, you don't really have a plan written. You know in your head what you want. You have the habit of working. You have the habit of getting there before anybody else and leaving last and all that stuff. And you're absolutely tied to the job. But it's not really being tied. It's, you know, you feel you're being responsible. And you're being a good provider for your family. You're being all these things. So now think about it. If you were walking around all tired and beat up, how can you possibly be powerful on your own behalf? And who on your team would want to be following you? I mean, I coach people and have been coaching people for 35 years. And they come to me and they don't feel it. They don't think they are, but they're worn out. And they can't figure out why nobody wants to follow them. And, you know, it's because, wow, if I'm going to own a business, my life is going to be like this guy's? I don't think so. Okay, I just don't think so. I mean, he's partly happy, but he's cranky. He's partly energized, but he's cranky, or she is. He's partly all over the place, but the truth is he's not happy. He's cranky. He's tired. He makes some decisions that are good, and most of his decisions are made on the back of his hand, like real quick. So what I'm really talking about here is life balance. You know, like the name of my company, Clay Nelson Life Balance. I started the company out of me being so far out of balance I couldn't believe it. And contrary to what many people think, creating the space to make you and your life a priority isn't hard. Everybody thinks, well, I'll get to it. Don't worry. I'll get to it. And you have to deal with your mind. Your mind doesn't want you to grow in any way, shape, or form because it's designed to protect you. And it can only protect you in ways of living that you've already lived. It doesn't know how to protect you in changing the way you're living. So your mind is going to be the biggest stopper, S-T-O-P-P-E-R, of you converting to having the life that you want and the business you want and the relationships that you want and the health that you want. You really can have it all right? So it takes a little bit of energy, it takes some commitment, it takes a personal plan, and it takes being able to see that success is more about having what you want, not just making all the money you want, okay? Taking care of you, what a concept, man. You've all seen people who you recognize as being out of balance. You know, it's always them. Oh my God, that poor guy, I don't want to be like him. But recognizing it in yourself, all right, can be a bit more difficult. And I say that humbly, you know, a bit more difficult. It's almost impossible. So check it out. If you say yes to 3 or more of the following questions, you too are out of balance. Now, I want you to really listen to these. Don't go into protecto mode and say, okay, I'm good, everything's fine, I don't answer yes to any of these questions. But really check it out. Really take a look, okay? So do you look at your family and notice that you have more of a relationship with your business associates than you do with your family? And you try to make it up on vacations, by the way. Do you spend more time working on the weekends than laughing and having fun? I mean, come on. Do you often fail to be your word with regard to your personal commitments, using work as an excuse? I mean, it's absolutely okay to say, oh, I had to work, sorry. Are you unhappy doing what you're doing? Oh, by the way, I just saw something on the net this morning. There was a 6-year-old autistic young man who had, let me see, how do I say this? It was his birthday. His mother invited 18 kids to his birthday party. And on the day of his birthday, at the time of his birthday and everything else, no one showed up. No one showed up to his birthday. Can you imagine what that felt like for that little guy, 6 years old? And so what happened was really great. His mom wrote a note out on Facebook, just general note about, you know, come on, people, wake up. Don't do this to not only my son, but other kids that have problems. And the fire department and the police department and the forestry service, everybody else came together and had the most outrageous, cool birthday party for this young man. He was happier than you could, absolutely unbelievable. But think about that. Think about how you don't know your neighbors. You know, I'm sure some of the people that didn't show up for that birthday party were good people, and they were thinking, well, my son's not going to go, but I'm sure there'll be other kids that'll go. And can you imagine what that little guy felt like with no one showing up to his birthday party? So think about, it might not be a birthday party, but what if you made work an excuse for not showing up for something for your kids, for that matter, for your wife or husband? I mean, it's time you never get back. You lose. And guess what? Your business doesn't give a hoot. Can you hear that? Your business does not care. Okay? So, are you out of shape physically? Now, here's a good one. All right? I mean, it's been 3 years ago, I built a gym up on my little ranchette up here in Montana, and because I was getting overweight and out of shape. And for the last 3 years, I've been working out and making the gym better and better. Now I have a first-class gym with mirrors on the doors and all kinds of things, and I work out 5 days a week. I'm 71 years old, and I have a spark. I have a jump in my step. I'm happier. I'm more alive. I chase Susan around the house better. I haven't caught her yet, but one of these days when I get bigger, I guess. So now, do you let your circumstances take away from participating in activities with those that you love? All right? So how many of you have been home, sitting on the couch with your kids and wife or husband, and your fanny is there, your legs are there, but your head's not there? So we're going to talk about that later, okay? Do you do everything yourself? Are you an absolute control maniac? All right. Do you take your work with you on vacation? Oh, that's a good one. How many of you take your work on vacation? I learned about 12 or 13 years ago, I don't take my phone on vacation. I don't take any way to communicate on vacation. All right. And the truth is, I do take my phone, but it's only for me to call out on in case I have a problem. Okay. So, do you take your work with you on vacation? Wow. Are you mentally or physically exhausted at the end of your workday? That's no fun. Do you allow work to dominate everything else in your life? Work, 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 work. Do you have an unhealthy habit? Alcohol, cutting people off on the freeway, gambling, that you excuse due to stress in your life? Again, if you truthfully answered yes to 3 or more of these questions, truth is, if it's one of them even, you're out of balance. So how out of balance are you? Think about this now. Just think about it. And in all honesty, the truth is about this topic of conversation is, yeah, I know, Clay, I got it. Don't worry, I'll get to it. I'm a little bit busy right now, but I'll get to it. See, I even have it written down on this piece of paper. Life balance. I know I'm out of balance, but I'm going to get to it. And guess what? We don't get to it. I mean, think about this now. When was the last time that you had absolutely nothing to do? Go ahead, think about it. See, if you're on this webinar, you're in the top 10% of the planet. You actually took the time to be on the webinar. You actually took the time and looked at the topic and went, oh, I can learn something about that. You're in the top 10% of the population of the entire planet. You got it? So what that means is that you will never, ever, 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 ever have nothing to do. If you're totally together at work, you're going to have stuff to do at home. And if you're over 50 years old, you got parents to take care of. You got kids to put in college. And you got kids to manage drug use, or not manage it, but keep them from doing it. You got all kinds of stuff that you got to do. And if you don't do it, you're going to pay. So being out of balance doesn't mean you are a bad person. What it does mean is that you're wearing yourself out, totally wearing yourself out. Your personal batteries are drained. You come home from work and you're sitting on the couch and people are talking to you, but you're absolutely brain dead, and not too long you're snoring. Or you're watching a TV program, if you have time, and you don't remember what it was. Or you're watching a football game and you can't for the life of you remember who won it. You're losing time with your family that you can never, ever, ever get back. And that one I want you to let sink in. And that's the one I want you to teach. I mean, if you sincerely understand what I'm talking about, that's the one I want you to teach the most to everybody you can. I mean, what you're losing is time with people you love that you can't get back. Okay, and last but not least, your business will suffer if it hasn't already. Lots of times your business starts suffering before you figure out that it's you that's really causing the suffer. Okay, now to change this way of being and to put taking care of you at the forefront of your strategy for long-term success, you must have, now everybody out there, you're going to dislike this, all right? You have to have a written plan for taking care of you. And a written plan doesn't mean I know it's in my head. A written plan doesn't live in your head. A written plan lives on paper. Okay? So you have to have a written plan for taking care of you, and a team, oh, here we go, and a team that holds you accountable for taking care of yourself. And by the way, just so you know, guess who's the best team to get you to take care of yourself? I give you a hint. They live at home. I'll give you another hint. It's your children. You let your kids know that you need to be held accountable for going to the gym, for coming home early enough to play with them at night, for coming home early enough to be at dinner, for actually being with them. Let your kids know that you want them to hold you accountable. They are the best accountability partners you could ever have. All right? So now, having a written plan for taking care of you. I mean, that's really what's happening here, all right? Now I'm going to go through some tools and tips for taking care of you. And I want you to listen to these, not like what I'm going to say to you is the answer. It's just part of the answer. All right? So there's a have a written plan for you. What are you going to do? And we're going to talk about how you do a personal plan. All right? And for the sake of this webinar, I'm going to give you a simplified version of the already simple to create personal plan. I want to make it as easy as possible. Your brain will try and make this hard. It is not. It is easy. So what is a personal plan? A personal plan is a tool that, when followed, takes care of you. Duh. So you've got a written plan, all right, and a personal plan, which usually, in many cases, is the same thing. But most of the time you have a written plan for your business, and inside the written plan is also your personal plan. So you have it everywhere taking care of you. You keep your batteries charged. You keep your clarity of mind going. All right? You know how to ask for help. You know how to delegate. You know how to give away what you know. You can appreciate teaching. For when you teach, you learn. Okay? A personal plan is made up of activities or actions that you love to do and due dates by when you will do them. I'll say that again. A personal plan is made up of activities or actions that you love to do and due dates by when you will do them. These activities can have nothing to do with work, nothing to do with making money, and nothing to do with networking to work or make money. I think I've covered all the bases there. A personal plan holds you accountable for taking care of you first. Now, the plan itself doesn't hold you accountable. The plan in your team's hands can hold you accountable. All right? Believe me, if you could get to where you're going and have a great life, and you could do that all by yourself, my friends, you would be there already. Okay? You can't get to where I'm talking about without being held accountable by other people. Smile now. Instead of going, oh, God, you're going to have to deal with people? Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Yuck. All right? A personal plan provides you with a place to recharge your batteries. Now, what do I mean by recharging your batteries? I mean, how many times have you come out of a meeting, all right, you're going into the next meeting, you sit down at the next meeting, and you're still in the other meeting? And because your batteries are so worn down, you can't juggle. You can't do two things at once. You're barely doing one thing at once. So a personal plan provides you with a place to recharge your batteries. Sometimes it only takes minutes. Sometimes you have to take a day off. Sometimes you have to call home and go, I love you. How's my dog? You know, you got to get connected at various times of the day with why you're working so darn hard. All right? It also provides you with the energy you need to be totally present when you are with your family. Now, totally present when you are with your family. Remember earlier I said you could be with your family but not be present. Your feet could be on the carpet of your living room, but your head's someplace else. Okay? So it provides you, a personal plan provides you with the energy you need to be totally present when you are with your family, when you are at work, and when you are making a difference in your community. So you can have it all. You can do all those things. You're willing to sacrifice yourself for it, and you don't have to sacrifice. Okay? Now, let's go into having your head be where your feet are all the time. So if you can right now, stand up. Okay? If you're sitting at home listening to me because you've got bad weather or whatever, stand up. And then look straight down and tell me what you see. Now, I can't hear you, so I'm going to say it. You see your feet. Unless you're overweight. Then what you got to see is put in your personal plan, get more exercise, eat less food. But if you could see your feet, that's what you'd see. Now, what would it be like for the rest of your days now, the rest of your time on the planet, your head was everywhere your feet are all the time without exception? Okay? Now, just think about this. We drive cars at 80 miles an hour, and we're not present to driving. We're present to work. Or we're present to our kids. Or we're present to, I got to go to the gym and I don't want to. Or we're present to, I'm a little short this month. I got to go make some extra money. How am I going to do it? At 80 miles an hour. All right? So you got to really get straight with yourself. If you're not present, stuff happens that surprises the heck out of you, and most of the time it's bad. Okay? So that's having your head be where your feet are all the time. And can you see how valuable that would be? I mean, it's absolutely incredible, right? Now let's go back to creating your personal plan. When creating your personal plan, you need to keep in mind some basic rules. Now, your brain's not going to like this, so I'm going to read 5 or 6 or 7 things now that is key to making up your personal plan. And your brain's going to try and distract you. You have to go to the bathroom. You have to, fill your water glass. You have to make a note about something you thought about business or whatever. It's going to try and keep you from hearing this. So stay present. Put your head where your feet are. All right? Now, you can take notes on this, or you can download, a copy of these notes, I think, from YouTube, or listen to it on YouTube and write them then. Now, most of us work because we love what we do. But there's a limit to how much work benefits us. So to create a plan that truly takes care of us or you first, the activity schedule on your personal plan cannot have anything to do with work. So your personal plan line items can have nothing to do with work. Personal plan line items can have, do not necessarily require the use of a travel agent. As a matter of fact, you can even you don't even have to leave your desk. You can have personal plan line items that you can do right from your desk. Like, for instance, I sit in this, quite frankly, a small office with its windows all the way around the office, and I look out at the snow. It's about 3 feet of snow outside, and beautiful trees, and I've got a view out down to where the ski lifts are, and it's just gorgeous. I'm at 7,000 feet up in Montana. It's just absolutely gorgeous. So what I do is, in the middle of all my work, I take 5 minutes off, I put my computer to sleep, and I just look out the window, and I look at nature, and I watch what's going on, okay? Sometimes when it's really, really bright, I have to put sunglasses on, but other than that, it rests my head. It gets my batteries charged. It gets my energy back to a level that serves me, okay? So a personal plan line item doesn't necessarily require the use of a travel agent. That's a figure of speech. As a matter of fact, you don't even have to leave your desk. All right? Now, the next one, include in your personal plan a minimum of 10 activities that you love to do each month and the date by when you're going to do them, and then do it. Okay? Your personal plan should include a minimum of 10 activities that you love to do and a date by when you will do them in the future, all right, which provide you with line items to replace those you complete. And what I'm saying here is, once you put your basic personal plan together the first time, you never have to start from scratch again, all right? You don't have to regenerate from, oh gosh, what am I going to do now? Because it's okay to do personal plan line items over again every month. Why include a date by when you will do each line item? Because without a date, you won't do them. Ha-ha! And there's no way for anybody to hold you accountable. Oh, there's that ugly accountability again. Okay, there's no way for your kids to ask, Dad or Mom, did you do this today? It says right here you're supposed to do this today. Did you do it? And you start telling your kids, no, I didn't do it 1 or 2 times, and pretty soon the embarrassment will be so bad you'll have to start taking care of yourself. Because your kids will go, Dad, hopefully they won't cough. But they'll go, Dad, why is it you ask me to hold you accountable, and then when I hold you accountable, you don't do it? What's that game? Well, son, that's called being human. How's that? Does that work? Do you buy that one? And they'll go, well, no. Are you wondering, here's tip number 2, are you wondering where the time to have this much fun and manage your business will come from? I mean, where's it going to come from? The time for both your life and your business comes from the increased energy and focus taking care of you provides. Now, what it really provides is clarity of mind. There's no fuzziness. There's no gray areas. And when you have clarity of mind, things get done. All right, and from your commitment, you also get, now this is going to scare you guys, all right, so let's be cool about this. Everybody hang on to your armchairs now, okay? From your commitment, And from actually getting clarity of mind, you're going to get happier. Now, I know that's probably against the law someplace, so don't turn me into the happy police, okay? Now, getting happy, sometimes really hard to do. You can't be happy except for a few minutes at the end of the day just before you fall asleep, but you can't tell anybody. Your kids live there all the time. You don't. We don't. All right? So now you have to really, really want what you want. All right? Think about this now. When you really, 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 really wanted what you want in the past, you got it, right? Okay? Or some rendition of it. So when you really, really, really want something, that's what it takes to get it. So what if I told you, if you really, really, really wanted to have a balanced life, you'd be happier, you'd have more fun, you'd make more money, you'd make more friends, you'd make a bigger difference on the planet, and you can do it in all the time that you have. You don't ever have to be out of time or overworked. You never have to feel, oh boy, I'm really doing great. I can barely walk, I can't see, I'm driving and I'm sleepy. You don't have to do any of that baloney, okay? In order to live a balanced life, you have to really want to have it. I mean, really, and be committed to taking care of you first. Hello? Earth to you guys, taking care of you first. You have to be 1,000% committed to taking care of you, no matter what the circumstances are that get in your way. And it will not become a reality, all right? Or it will not become a reality. You have to really, really want it, be present to it, and have to have it, all right? It's like you would put your life on your line for your kids. You got to put your life on your line for yourself. And to get beyond the circumstances that throw you off balance, you have to be committed, even in the face of not always knowing how you're going to do it. Now, I'm going to say something now, and I want you to remember. How is the booby prize? Commitment without knowing how is, quite frankly, the future. That's how we operate. Except we always do it in business, or we always do it for somebody else. Or surgeons do it all the time in surgery. Or I do it when I'm on the top of a ski lift and I know I shouldn't be there and I'm headed downhill. I have to really believe in myself. Even when they're picking me up off the ski slope. You know what I mean? Like, oh, wow, aren't I cool? Yeah, that's good. I can crash good. So having balance in your life is about being so committed that you will not settle for anything else. There is no alternative. I'm going to do, or I'm going to have this. You have to really, 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 really want it. You have to be willing to fight for it like your life is at stake. It's that big. Because you're going to be fighting, the biggest thing you're going to be fighting with is your own head. Your head's going to try and sabotage you. Consider the times in your life when you really, really wanted something. You figured out a way to get it. You reprioritize your time and your energy in order to get it. So taking care of you and creating a balanced life and the success you deserve is no different. All right? Now, you got to have a team. You got to stop living life like I'm the only one that can do it. Okay? You have to stop doing that. The concept of team is not a new one. Ta-da! But putting into action is where most of us get hung up. How do we put team into action when we're used to being Lone Rangers? Why? It's because our automatic work mentality also has a tendency to cause what I call the only I can do it syndrome. Only I can do this. All right, check it out. Do you have any of these syndromes? Now, I'm going to go through here, and I don't think any of us can say to all of what I'm going to read, nope, I don't have it. You all have one or two of these, all right? We take on doing everything ourselves. We refuse to ask for help, even admit that we need help. We wouldn't want to ask for help. Somebody would know we didn't know something. Whoa, that's scary. You have a difficult time acknowledging what you don't do. It's always somebody else's fault. You believe that you're the only person who can do the job. Oh, of course, I don't have a problem with that. No. Ask my team. They're going, what are you doing, Clay? I'm going, I'm controlling. I'm doing a good job of it, too. You're tired, and you're always running on your last speck of energy. Well, that tells me I'm doing a good job at working all the time, and sacrificing my family, or sacrificing what I'm working for, sacrificing who I love. Yes, sir, boy, I'm right in there. And you have no team. So do you have any of those symptoms? In order to cure the only I can do it syndrome, you must, one, here's a biggie, you must learn to ask for help. Look, you can't teach anybody anything if you don't get some help, and you teach them, hey, they come to you and they say, how do I do this? And you say, well, if I wasn't here, what would you do? And that I call turning someone's brain on. You know, and that when we go into how to replace yourself on another webinar, I spend a lot of time discussing this topic. Okay, so 1, ask for help. 2, delegate to your team. 3, hold your team accountable for the results they agree to produce. It is not okay for your team members to say they're going to do something and then not do it. You can't let them get away with that. And they can't let you get away with it either, even though you're the boss. A lot of people hide behind that boss stuff, that title stuff, so they think, well, you can't hold me accountable. I sign your checks. And the truth is that's not team. I don't know what it is, but it's not team. I should know the name of that, but so that's just admitting I don't know something. There you go. In other words, if you want to get rid of the only I can do it syndrome and take care of you, you have to give up doing all the work. I'll give you that again. If you want to get rid of the only I can do it syndrome and start taking care of you, you have to give up doing all the work. And when you give up doing all the work, you have to put you in the free space you get by giving up doing all the work. Remember, if you could get to where you were going by yourself, you would be there already. So I'll say that again. If you could get to where you're going by yourself, you would be there already. What a concept, huh? Okay, next tip. Get out of your own way. I mean, duh, what a concept, all right? Respectfully, most anyone who has achieved any amount of success got there by being in control. The problem with this is there's a limit to that which you can control, and that limit is you and your abilities. You know, as time goes by, your business grows. You, as the only I can do it person, simply will not have enough of you to go around. And in this case, you have 2 choices. 1, you can either make the world smaller, or 2, you can delegate and make it bigger. Either way, you simply can't do it all forever. It cannot be done. You'll just wear yourself out. You'll turn yourself into a big pile of dust, and everybody will go, gee, what happened to him? I didn't know he was upset. I didn't know he was tired. I didn't know. You never let us know. You never asked for help. Gosh, what do we do now? In order to make room for you to take care of you, you have to get out of your way. You have to, which ultimately makes room for you to have more time and freedom to grow your business and to have the success you desire. Gives you more time to see what's missing. Duh. So how do you get out of the way? Well, you have to keep your eye on the big picture. And how can you keep your eye on the big picture if you're doing all the work? You have to be the visionary you are being paid to be. All right? You get the big bucks. You got to be able to tell the future of what your industry is and allow your team to manage the rest. Be the question and stop being the answer, like I said earlier. If you be the question instead of stop being the answer with your entire team, it makes your team think. So if for some reason you're not there, your team can think and resolve an issue. They don't have to call you. They can absolutely think on their own. So and then there's a whole teaching about how to speak to people and so you can get them to think without intimidating them or making them feel bad. By asking questions that require your team to create solutions themselves, you are teaching them to think. In the end, this simple shift in who you are being, the question versus the answer, will allow you to stay focused on the big picture and your team grow into players who can carry your business forward regardless of where you are or what you are doing. I mean, you could actually go on a ship You could actually have vacation. You could actually play golf. You could actually do all kinds of things, all right? So now, in summary, ultimately, the key essential to having the business, the life, and the relationship success you say you want to have is to take care of you first. I know that's foreign, but listen, it's the only way it'll work. You have to learn to take care of you first. And your mind's going to say, oh, you're conceited. Oh, you're being selfish. Oh, you shouldn't do that. Or here's a good one. In taking care of myself first, I started going to the gym before I had one, before I lived in Montana, when I lived in Santa Barbara. I started going to the gym in the middle of my day. And my team was going crazy. How can he go in the middle of his day? That's working hours. He can't go to the gym in the middle of his day. And I would come back more fired up than when I left. So I got more done in any one day anyway. But they got upset, boy. And they were telling me what the rules are. And I told them, no, here's the rules. And I allowed them to do the same thing. Some of them did, some of them didn't. It's all about what you're committed to. All right? You have to make you a priority. And when you do, your business, your relationships, and your life in general will align to help you reach your goals. Now think about this. If whatever you did made you happier, remember we talked about that earlier? With whatever you did made you happier and you went home, what do you think your wife would have to say to you? I mean, the first time you went home happier, she'd ask you if you were sick. I know, I got that. But after a while, when you came home happier, she would go, all right, I got some plans for this old boy. Can you hear that? Yeah. All right. The choice to take care of you is yours and yours alone. No one can do it for you. You have to make the commitment to writing and following your personal plan. Only you can build your team. Only you can ask for help and delegate to your team. Only you can give up being the answer. Only you can make the choice to make your life a priority. All right? And as you make the choice to make you a priority, I encourage you to not just live what you've learned, but teach what you've learned to others. You know, pretty soon after a while, folks will ask you, what is going on with you? You're a lot happier. Well, how'd you do that? So you start teaching. You've been given tremendous tools today and insights to what you can do in order to have the life balance that you say are missing. As you put these tools into practice and create life balance, teach others how to manage the time they have for their lives too. The more you teach these life balance tools, the more ability you have to have life and a balanced life yourself. So the more you give away, the more you get. The more you give away, the more you get. In the end, it's all about the choices you make. As you contemplate your choices, remember, you are the only person who has a say in how your life turns out. Now think about this. No one can do this for you. Nobody can change this for you. Nobody can demand that you change this. All right? This is all about your commitment to who? Yourself. Only you are the only person, all right, who has a say in how their life turns out. So remember, 1, every second that you give up having fun and being with your family for your job and your business is a second you cannot ever get back. Okay? That one just gets me. 2, you have to really, 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 really want balance in your life in order to actually have it. So it's not easy. You have to go get it and really fight for it. If you could get to where you're going by yourself, you would be there already. And you are the only person who has a say in how your life turns out. Now think about that. It's not your boss's fault. It's not your brother's fault. It's not your sister's fault. Not your parents' fault. It's about the decisions you made sometime in your life. And it's either working or it's not. If it's working, teach it. If it's not working, change it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. I'll take questions now from anybody that wants to ask them. Beth, go ahead.
So, Clay, we have a few that have been sent in during the course of the presentation. And the first one is asking, can you give us some examples of personal plan line items, maybe some things that you use yourself on a regular basis?
Yeah, well, one, like I said, is go to the gym for an hour and a half, 5 days a week. And then on the weekends, do cardiovascular exercise. And I have Susan hold me accountable for that. And boy, It gets ugly around here if I try to miss it. Okay. Sit down and read an hour or so once a week. Do stretching exercises because I've learned that stretching and flexibility is more important at 70 years old than muscle mass. Although my muscles are getting huge and I'm much, much cuter than I was. Now, let me see. So another example would be to go out and start my Harley up and make sure everything's going okay because it's been sitting for 6 months because it snows here for 6 to 8 months a year. I love to go out and take all my equipment, my tractors and my lawnmowers and everything else out to my barn and clean them up and sharpen the blades. I mean, it's just something I love doing. It's like being responsible for the land, being responsible for the property I own. I love to go out with my chainsaw and clean up the forest, okay? I love to sit sometimes very quietly on my deck and look out. I've got 8 acres and look out on about I don't know, maybe 3.5 acres in front of the deck, and I can just watch nature happy. You understand? See, these life balance things, personal plan things don't have to be hard. You don't have to travel. It can be really easy as long as it charges your batteries. It has nothing to do with work, nothing to do with money, and nothing to do with making money. Okay?
Yes. Well, and I would just add to that, if I may, to encourage people, because I think pretty easily a personal plan could start looking like a to-do list. And so it is really important that the things that they have on their list are truly things they love to do. And that's where commitment and everything comes into sticking with that plan too.
Yeah. If a personal plan ever shows up in your brain as a to-do list, guess what's talking to you? Your brain. Your brain will try and stop this every chance it can. All right, your brain will tell you this is a waste of time. Don't do this. You don't have time. You have to go back to work. And it's not true. All right, you have to charge your batteries. That's the idea. You have to be able to think more clearly. You have to be able to think clearly quicker. You have to get from confusion to clarity of thinking much, much faster. And the only way to do that is have your batteries charged and be open to the possibility. Okay?
So the next thing I have, someone commented, you make a strong point for team building, but I'm not sure I can afford to hire more people.
Okay, but it's not about people that you have to hire. It's about people in your life. You could bring your wife onto your team. You could bring your brother onto your team. You could bring people that you know in your church onto your team. You don't have to pay them. See, most people would love to be able to hold you accountable because people love to find a way to contribute to other people. Plus, when you ask somebody to hold you accountable, that means automatically you respect who they are. I mean, you don't want somebody holding you accountable that you don't like, okay, or you don't have some respect for. So it's all about making your world bigger. That's what a personal plan does. It makes your world bigger. It forces you to get out there and commingle better with more people.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
All right? Good question. That was a very good question, by the way.
Oh, well. Well, I thank the person for submitting it. I have one more question here. And this person says they work in a multi-generational business. Sounds like he's probably second or third, or she is second or third generation. It says, I'm having a difficult time convincing my father that he needs to do more getting out of the way, as you call it. Do you have any advice or suggestions?
Yeah, ask permission to shoot straight with him. Go, Dad, can I shoot really straight with you? Because I got something I really want to say out of loving you and out of caring about you and quite frankly, being clear that you've earned the right to take a look at what I'm going to say. And so you have to really get his attention, and it has to be gotten past, oh, you're my daughter, you're my young child, you're my whatever. It's like parents always think they know more than the children. So you have to find a way to contribute to your dad or your mom, and it may take taking them by the hand and take them to the fishing stream and put a rod in their hand. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Don't put a beer in his hand. Bad idea.
Well, that is it for the submitted questions. But I would just like to add that, I have worked with you, Clay, for 15 years.
Yeah.
And, I started out as someone who is coaching with you, going actually to a personal planning workshop. So this speaking and this way of being has been a part of my life for a long time. And I can say that, I'm sitting here and I helped you prepare for this webinar and everything, but I'm sitting here listening going, gosh, oh yeah, I need to be doing that better and this and that. And so it's a conversation that all of us need to keep alive. And so I would encourage anybody out there, when we have the recording available, go back to this. If you find yourself struggling with it, go back to it. And if you're really struggling with it, call us up and we'll help you.
I mean, the best conversation you can have is with the guy in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
That was good. Ooh, I like that one. I am so cool. You know what I mean?
Well, I just gave you my personal things, and I think that's all we have for today.
All right. Thank you all very much, and we'll see you next month. Do you have any idea? Have we planned on a topic yet, Beth? We
haven't planned next month's topic, but I was actually thinking I would love to get input from people who attend our webinars regularly of what they. Please email us with any topic suggestions you have. I was saying that we'd love to have some topic suggestions from those who participate in the webinars regularly. Get their input on what they would like to hear and see.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you. Okay, Beth, thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you next time.